Jürgen Klopp, he is never ever a man who just deals in uniformity.
You need moments like this, and you need moments like this at home that everybody can enjoy. It's only a point, but everybody will talk about this game for the next 5-6 days, and that's important. That's what football is for.
Well, in terms of that greeting, if you like, to the Liverpool fans, some have suggested it was inspiring, others thought it was embarrassing, given the result. Well, the Liverpool fans are split, as you'll hear. We've got the views of the Anfield podcast, the Anfield Wrap. You'll hear from Gareth Roberts and John Gibbons. And first, Neil Atkinson.
Talking about Klopp's reaction to the point, and it's important to point out it was just a point, Gareth, against West Bromwich Albion, the late equaliser from Liverpool. Getting the players in a line to acknowledge it, that sort of German tradition stuff. First time he's done it at Liverpool. Why do you think he did it?
Well, first off, I'd take issue with what you've just said, that he was doing it to celebrate a point or anything like that. I think the reason Jürgen Klopp was standing in front of the Kop with the players, saluting the fans, was to say thank you for what the part the fans had played in that result, because it felt to me that, you know, before the game, Jürgen Klopp went out of his way to talk about let's create the best atmosphere at Anfield for 10 years. He talked about how he's all about atmosphere and he wanted people to come with him on that journey and create an atmosphere. So, you know, he'd made the public appeal. And during the game, if you watched his sort of histrionics on the sidelines, he was actually appealing directly to people in the main stand to get behind the team. And I thought the atmosphere was the best it's been for a good while at Anfield on Sunday, and I think that's what it was all about.
Yeah, he's trying to install a change, and I think you can notice it even before, you know, the arms in the air stuff. Before that, I think during stoppage time, I remember saying to my dad, "This is the best atmosphere I've known when we've been 2-1 down in stoppage time." Normally, I mean, I think the fact that it was 8 minutes helped, but I think generally speaking, a lot of the time, you know, people are drifting away, people are getting off, or people are staying around and moaning. But it was generally a positive environment, and it was funny noticing, even though we were leaving, we sort of had their excuses. You know, they were saying like, "Oh, you know, well, I need to go, you know, do this or do that," rather than they just got off. You know, so I think stuff like what he did does help, because it's another reason to say, "Look, stay till the end. This is going to be great, and we're going to thank you for doing it." And I think, generally speaking, in the Premier League, football players, have been too poor for a long time at acknowledging the sport. I think he's kind of trying to move away from that and trying to create something a bit more positive between fans and players, and that can only be a good thing, and maybe that'll be another reason why people stay.
It's also saying to the players, I think, you know, you're playing for them. In the same way you're saying thank you to the supporters, it's saying to the players, you're playing for them, you're them, they're you, and it's getting this idea back to sort of a one club mentality. And you can pay loads of lip service to the idea that people can do press conferences, can't they, Gareth, saying, "Oh, we're a one club mentality, this is what we want." You can do all the talk about that, but there's times when there's just gestures which can resonate with people.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing for me in all this as well is there's been a reaction to it, and a lot of it negative.
I thought it was absolute nonsense, if I'm being completely honest with you. They've drawn at home to West Brom. Let's get it right here. You know, for them to do that celebration, isn't it? Some people might think it's great, but they've drawn against West Brom at home.
Because I'm naturally miserable, I wouldn't have liked it even after a 4-0 win. I like Jürgen Klopp a lot, but that was the one thing that he did in Germany that I wish he hadn't brought with him.
I was in the ground, I was in the Kop, I was facing Jürgen Klopp and the players when they were doing it, and I was looking around at, you know, the people next to me, the people in front of me, the people behind me, my friend next to me, to my right, and my own feelings, and everyone was delighted that he was doing it. Everyone had grins on their faces, everyone's clapping, everyone's applauding, everyone's shouting, everyone felt good about it. The atmosphere in Anfield on Sunday was a positive atmosphere, and that hasn't always been the case. It hasn't always been supportive. It's almost been negative in the fact that, you know, as soon as a mistake's made, people are on players' backs. This felt the opposite, and I thought you could see the effect of it in players like Jordan Ibe, in players like Divock Origi. They looked like they had an extra burst of pace in them because of the sound in the stadium, because of the support they were getting, because they were being urged on to try and get that equaliser. And we've not always seen that. We've seen nerves, we've seen abuse to our own players, basically, from some fans. So it was a nice positive atmosphere, and I think that it did contribute to us getting the point out of a game that looked lost. So he's saying thank you for that. What is wrong with that?
There we are, dropping our microphone in on the Kop with the boys from the Anfield Wrap there. Kit Simon's listening in. I mean, as a man who's recently been in that situation,